Today, on Be Something Wonderful, I fell asleep saying I am God and woke up a millionaire. I am your host, Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Big video today. And this all started, I had a session yesterday with a client, and she said that she had sent me an email prior detailing a lot of things that we actually talked about yesterday. And I told her, okay, I'll when we get off the session, when the session ends, I'll check my emails. So last night, as I was checking the emails, I found one that I had not seen. It was so subtle. It said this in the title. It said, the subject said, "Thank you for sharing. I created my reality." That's what the subject said. And I do get lots of those type of emails. I love them. But I didn't read this one, so I read it. It was a relatively long email. But this email really embodies what I've been talking about, what we've been talking about together, how we've been leveling up together the last few months. And it even comes to a question that was on the channel or from a subscriber yesterday about processes. And I'm going to tell you this client's story, because this client really embodied the idea that I am God and there is no other, to the point that he woke up a lottery winner. I'm going to go over this, right? And I'm going to unpack the details that he gave me. This all happened over 7 days. Again, the biblical number of 7, that means completion, mentioned over 700 times in the Bible, means completion, wholeness, perfection. And he wrote me on June 9th. June 8th is when he woke up a millionaire, and he discovered the channel 7 days before that. I want to talk about all of this. It's powerful. And all of this leads into the question that one of you said. I think one of you wrote, I forget where I saw it, but it was like, Tom says you don't need processes. And I never say that. It's not about needing or not needing. Needing something puts it in the future. Needing something takes your power away. Needing something strips you from that power that you are. You don't need anything. You are that I am. You are God. You are complete. So it's not about that. So it's not about needing to do techniques and processes. It's not about doing anything. It's about being. In other words, being the process. You are the process. You are the technique. It's about embodying them. Right? Even this client, not client, subscriber, that I'm going to talk about, even said that he said, or she said, or they said, I'm not sure who it is, in their email, that no techniques, no state akin to sleep, no affirmations, no scripting. But the fact is they did them, but they embodied them. They didn't feel like they were doing them. They fell asleep to the words, I am God and there is no other. They were scripting their new story. They were affirming their new story. Do you see it? It didn't feel like they were doing techniques to them. That's what we're talking about, but they were being the techniques. God is the process. I am the way. I am the life. I am the light. I am the resurrection, right? I am the good shepherd. I am the Lord, the law, and there is no other. There's no God besides me. Embody them. Become them. You're always imagining. You're always affirming. You're always scripting something, your story of I am. Right? You're always doing that. It's just that we start taking those processes and feeling it's something we have to do, something outside of us, a condition that needs to be met, hear this, to get what we want. When there are no conditions. You are the only condition. You are the process. It's just embodying them. So I want to hit this like we never have before. So this subscriber says this: I saw your videos on the other platforms 7 days ago. 7, appearing more than 700 times in the Bible. That biblical number that means completion, perfection. It's done, right? 7 days. The sentence, I am God and there is no other, attracted me to find all of your videos on YouTube and subscribed. So he found that he saw that something on another platform. I guess I'm on other platforms. And where it says, I am God and there is no other. And that attracted him. And so what was his old story? His old story was about debt issues, trying to fix the poverty or the scarcity problem, trying to fix the story, right, as something outside of him. Do you get it? Like, this is a problem that's outside of me. I have to fix it. I have to correct it, this debt issue, this poverty, the scarcity. He even says that they say they studied Neville Goddard. They paid coaches. But I kept walking in the fog until I saw your video. So even though they studied it, they tried the processes, they talked to other coaches, they still were in the fog until I saw your video. A very subtle email. I missed it. Right? That thank you for sharing. I created my reality. Well, I got to this email and I'm unpacking it today. Remember, this email was sent on the 9th. Okay, on the 9th of June. And what changed? Remember, the key here is that it's not that he didn't do processes, didn't need them. He became the process. He saw himself as process, as God, as all of that. He says here, or they say here, I chose myself. I choose myself. That's what I think he's a non-native speaker. He even mentioned that he thought his English, but his English was fine. It was perfectly great. I choose myself. I am that I am. He went vertical. They went vertical. This subscriber went vertical. I choose myself. I am that I am. I decided to immerse myself in my new story. Script, in other words, regardless of his old story. He even uses the word, so it is he, because he uses the word his here. And he goes, he's almost separating himself from that old story, talking about it in third person. Hear this, I decided to immerse myself in my new story, regardless of his old story. That old 3D me, regardless of that old story, I'm immersing myself in the new story. 3D can't give me anything. We've talked about that, right? 3D doesn't give you anything. 3D is within you, right? 3D can't give you anything. I choose to pay no attention to the old story. And remember, what creates reality? Your attention, your focus. You are awareness. You are consciousness. When you don't give it attention, when you don't give it awareness, it can't exist. It can't continue to have substance. It can't continue to exist in your experience. It must dissolve. Right? It can't continue to have reality. I choose to be in the perfect and abundant empire. This is his words, right? When I listen to you say you are God or you are good, that is so powerful. This is what he's saying. Then on 6/8, he wrote this date. On 6/8, this is big. He goes on 6/8, 7 days later since discovering Be Something Wonderful and announcing and claiming himself as one and the only source of his good. Those are my words in parentheses. On 6/8, June 8th, 7 days later since discovering Be Something Wonderful, announcing and claiming himself as the one and only source of his good, he says, I woke up early and went to work normally. Right? I stopped paying attention to the negative signs 3D gave me. That less than 1% of linear horizontal reality. This is what he's saying. Then what? It's going to blow you away. Then a miracle happened. Exclamation point. This is what he's saying, right? I won the lottery jackpot. And he even writes the exact amount here. And he says 20,377 $20,377,400 USD before taxes. This is what he's saying, right? 20 million bucks, right? Before taxes, USD. This is his words. This is his email, right? It has only been, and this is what he says, it has only been 7 days since I subscribed to your YouTube channel. Almost every day I see the wonderful things in my 3D world. He's like already moved on. It's just like all wonderful things are happening. I have a different view of the world. Well, clearly. He goes, I became a billionaire in my new story. So his story was that billionaire story to him, right? Abundance in all ways, right? Just being that abundant you. He goes, I fell asleep saying, I am God and there is no other. He says here, this distinction, no state akin to sleep, no affirmations, no scripts, just proclaiming I am God and there is no other. But what is he doing? That is affirming. That is a state akin to sleep. That is a scripting. Do you see it? We're doing it normally, always, naturally. It's our natural It's our natural creative power. It's our natural creative state. We're always creating. He just embodied it. He no longer looked at it as something that he's studying and that he has to do to get what he wants. He proclaimed that he is God, that he is source, that he is the process, and just became the process, became that light, became that source. And then, of course, 3D reality must yield to that, right? Wow. That's so big here. He goes, then there's a sudden thought until you realize it's there. It's already come true. I am that I am. These are his words. And then he goes on to say, when you know yourself, and then I wanted to point out, this is really a perfect example of the Gospel of Thomas. When you know yourselves, then you'll be known. He knew himself as God. He knew himself as the process. He knows himself as I am God and there is no other. He knows himself as the affirmations. He knows himself as the scripting, as the script, as everything. When you know yourselves, then you'll be known, and then you'll realize that you're children of the living source. But if you don't know yourselves, then you live in poverty, and you are the poverty. He was feeling that, right? Not knowing himself. Wow, that's powerful. I wanted to share this with you. This is what he said about the email. It's really exciting. And I want to tell people who are in a similar situation to me to encourage them to believe that they're their own God. I am that. He wanted to share this. He wanted to share this with you, to say you are that already. Wow. I fell asleep saying I am God and woke up a millionaire. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for joining us on our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. Thank you for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, and joining our membership channel. There's a link below if you want to join. That's another channel that you can subscribe to. It's a monthly fee to join, but it has all content. There are no ads run. That's all. The videos run continuously, and there is I do live streams on that channel. So there was a video released a few days ago. There'll be more videos on that as well. But just thank you for being here, whether you're on the public channel or the private channel. I'm just glad you're here. With great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom with Be Something Wonderful in Las Vegas. We'll see you soon.